Hi, and welcome to this section of the Basic Math Word Problem Tutor. And in this section, we're going to tackle word problems that involve multiplication. And so we've already done word problems that talk about addition and also those that involve subtraction. And now we're going to tackle problems that involve multiplication. And the thing that we're going to really watch out for in this section is, as you know from before, multiplication is a shorthand way of doing addition. Okay, so we'll talk about that here in a minute, but you can add two numbers together, and when you multiply two numbers together, you're really doing addition in a shorthand way, and we'll talk about exactly how that happens here in a second. And so because of that, some of the key words that are in the word problems, the keywords to look out for to know what to do are some of the same keywords that we have for the addition problems. So it can be a little bit confusing sometimes to know when to add them and when to multiply them. But I think the way we're going to tackle that is by working a lot of example problems and also just by understanding exactly what the problem is telling us. And that will tell us, by truly understanding the problem, if we're supposed to add these numbers together or multiply them. So for instance, in a multiplication problem, one of the keywords to look out for that's really important is the phrase "the product." The product of this number and that number, the product of this and the product of this and that. That's a keyword that by itself usually almost always means multiplication. So watch out for the phrase "find the product of," or "what is the product of this?" Okay, and then the other ones there are very similar to the ones we've already tackled in the addition problems. For instance, find the total number of chairs in a room, or find the total number of gumdrops in a bucket. Okay, how many in all do you have? How many altogether do you have? And the reason I'm pointing these out is because, if you see, one of the main things that's really confusing about the word problems is you might see something that says, well, find the total amount of whatever it is, people in the room, okay? And you know from your addition problems that usually means you add things together. Well, if you're not really thinking about exactly what the problem means, that means you might go ahead and add two numbers together. But you have to really read the problem to know if it makes sense to add them, like the problems we've already done before, or maybe it makes sense to multiply them. And there's only one right way to do it. And the only way you can get good at that is to work some example problems. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is do a little bit of review. This is not a word problem, this is just a little bit of review I want to talk to you about. Okay, if you have the chairs in a room, okay, I'm asking you to look at your classroom from the top, okay? Let's say I have chairs that are arranged like this. These little circles are chairs, okay? So these are chairs in a classroom, okay? And you can see I've arranged them in a grid like this, just like they are arranged in the classroom. And let's say I have four chairs, four rows, I guess I should say. And let's say I have four rows of chairs. Okay, this is one row, one row, one row, and one row, so that gives me four rows. Okay, and then here I've arranged them into three columns. Okay, so you already know from your basic math that how many chairs do you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chairs. So you know you have 12 chairs in this room, okay? And you can write that down. You can just say, oh, I have 12 chairs in the room, okay?